We pan across a dark moonlit night upon a castle as bats fly out. A man sits in a library reading a book, The Knights of the Round Table. Upon seeing a shadow come across his way, he looks upon the shadow and sees something. What secrets lie in this shadow? Welcome to Mysteries in the Machine.
I'm Charlie.
And I'm Ethan.
And oh look, the back of the Mystery Machine is opening up today. Who do we have here? Did you bring snacks for us? Did you bring snacks for us, AJ?
I thought Tim had the snacks. We were supposed to be climbing in together, but I took a wrong turn at Albuquerque.
You were in fact late, you know?
Yeah.
If you ask Bugs Bunny for directions, he can only do so much.
I know it wasn't my best choice, but, I got cut off from Tim. Tim is the brains of our operation, I have to admit.
Mm-hmm.
Left unsupervised, I am not entirely responsible for my own tardiness.
That's valid.
So what I'm saying is, blame Tim, it's all Tim's fault.
I will. Tim, if you're listening to this, I blame you for everything.
He was on last week. He can't speak for himself.
Good, that makes this so much easier for me.
And he was here for an episode that sure existed.
It was one of the episodes of Scooby-Doo of all time. I will say that.
You know what? Surprisingly, we didn't give it our lowest rating of the season. Yeah, but it's still very low. We've only had high highs and low lows so far.
It's really feast or famine here, and I think we have a feast on our hands.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I feel like I got the better end of this situation, I have to say.
I agree
definitely.
With that wholeheartedly.
I enjoyed this episode for what it is. But I will say, watching it and being an Arthurian nerd does make me scream internally just a little bit.
Actually, I was going to ask you about that because of the things we come across in this episode. How much were you seething at the inaccuracies that were on display here?
Listen, there's only so much media really does to try to get anything Arthurian right. Most of the time, it doesn't. I'm not gonna lie, just about every adaptation disappoints me. So seeing this in Scooby-Doo, I'm like, okay, it's Scooby-Doo. I can't get mad at it, because the vibes, they're doing it correctly. They're doing a Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
But also, why does Merlin straight up just look like a weird magician? He looks like Dumbledore.
He does look like Dumbledore.
I guess.
I was almost disappointed how generic Merlin looked.
Yeah, there was no pizzazz to his design at all.
No.
He's just generic old wizard man. Which, to be fair, a lot of wizards are based off of Merlin in some capacity, so...
And Merlin doesn't even look like that, probably. Merlin's a forest hermit druid guy.
And yet people always categorize him as a wizard.
I mean, wizard's not necessarily incorrect, unless you're talking D&D terms.
I was gonna say, I was thinking in D&D terms, druids and wizards are two separate things.
If I were to put him in D&D, I would say Merlin is 100% a druid. He can shapeshift into, birds. That is textual.
Well, I mean, wizards, they can cast polymorph on themselves.
True.
And transform
That's true, but I also think largely within the gist of Merlin's character within Arthurian myth, he's a lot less of a stereotypical D&D wizard. He is very book learned, but that's not heavily implied to be the source of his power. He's just built different, essentially.
Yeah. And
straight up built different. There are versions of it where he is Cambion, a child of an incubus and a human woman.
Interesting.
So Merlin is canonically part demon, and I love that for him. That's where he gets his magic powers, is because he's part demon.
I thought there was
so what you're saying is he's a warlock.
Yes, he's probably a warlock.
Oh no,
Um,
Druid Warlock multiclass. I haven't heard that one in a while.
It's something.
Also, he might have a twin sister. There's not a whole lot of sources for it, but I love that small factoid about it. So,
Though we don't get horny for underage women Merlin here, which, that's
no, we
fine with
don't.
me.
He's not horny for underage women. The
He's
woman
horny for
he's usually
girls.
yes, he is horny for girls who say no. And the
Yes.
girl who says no just happens to be an all-knowing, all-powerful fae who can just turn you into a tree. Again, which is why I say druid, because there's
I
just a
thought
lot of
she-
plant things going on.
I thought she trapped him in a cave.
It,
Am I wrong
it
about
differs. Sometimes he's in like a cave or a tower. Sometimes he's a tree. Again, there's a lot of different stories. I know a lot of things. This was my hyperfixation throughout most of college. So
that? Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
and
just
that's
going off of the interpretations that I've read/listened to. So
Yeah, and I think that's fair, and that's the best a lot of us can do, because when you do look at literary myth, essentially you do get into the idea of what we have now is compilations of specific interpretations of stories. So you're
Yeah.
like you pick up two different versions of the Tales of the Knights of the Round Table, and you're going to get two entirely different stories. Much like the
Speaking
fact
of
that
which-
the Black Knight as an umbrella topic can cover like a dozen
So many.
different characters that show up throughout the tales, because
yeah,
there are so many different
Literally.
interpretations and different tales written without other tales in mind. Like there's an entire story about the Black Knight, like who is the Black Knight because he is a Moor and a knight.
yeah, there is.
You don't see that in a lot of the compilations, but it is a tale that exists. It's just a matter of everybody kind of agrees this was probably written later enough to not consider it important to the rest of Arthurian canon.
There's actually
Interesting.
a lot of Arthurian knights that are not generic white guys. And it's
Yeah.
surprising.
Yeah, there's a lot more diversity. But when I guessed it on
Wait.
Muses of Mythology, we talked about the Edda when we were talking about interpretations of Odin. And much like in that case,
Hmm.
when you're looking at the prose Edda, when it comes to interpretations of Odin, you're looking at Icelandic retellings of Norse myth that had been passed down for
Yeah.
like 3 centuries at that point. When you look at any adaptation of the Knights of the Round Table, you're looking at an interpretation of what's the word I'm looking for? A compendium of tales that originated from different places at different times all across England in completely different social contexts.
Yeah, it's insanely wild. We have exactly like one this is all inspired by Arthur's name being like twice in some historical document from like the 5 to 600s.
Yeah.
And like, okay, he fought in this battle, and he and Mordred were killed in this other battle. And that's like all we had, and then people made fan fiction about it.
I mean, a lot
that
of
is
stuff that
how everything came about.
Yeah.
A lot of things can be boiled down to fan fiction. Like, if you think about it, Dante's Inferno is fan fiction.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
most of our modern
absolutely.
conception of hell is because of biblical fan
It's
fiction.
because of Dante, yeah.
Yeah.
And Paradise Lost, the other famous biblical fan fiction.
Mhm.
There is a lot of Bible fan fiction out there when you start thinking about it.
Yeah.
There's quite a bit.
Narnia is
Book-
arguably Bible fan fiction.
Agreed.
Yes.
Lion
The Book
Jesus.
of Mormon, biblical fan fiction.
Yeah, yeah.
Haley, whenever you start your fan fiction podcast, these are some topics to potentially cover.
Dante's
Yes.
Inferno for the season finale.
God.
She's like, she wants to start a podcast only covering good fan fiction. And I'm
I
like,
would count
okay,
My
Dante.
Immortal is not even on the table.
yeah, no My Immortal whatsoever. And I'm like, okay, but what if
What do
we
you
just
mean?
talk
My
about,
Immortal's a paradigm of what fan fiction can be in its best case.
right?
Shut up,
What
you
if we talk
preps.
about the history of like some things and how they are just fan fiction? How like everything is just fan fiction.
Yeah, and I think that's such a fun topic to talk about when you talk about literature, because we've always been like this. Humanity is a
Yeah.
very familiar beast.
Yeah, I mean, people take things they like, they combine with other things they like, and they make a new thing. We do that with a lot of stuff. Like, if you think about it, people who create recipes and cookbooks and things like that, all they're doing is taking things that already exist in their own context, mixing them together with other things, and eventually something good comes out of it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to interpret that.
Cookbooks are fan fiction. Hot takes
Correct.
here.
Your
Haley, cover
ideas are
cookbooks.
intriguing to me.
Cover Uncle Bobby Flay's cookbook.
Oh my god.
This is clearly just
Bread.
cuisine fan fiction.
Frederick Robert Flay Jones.
This is true.
Bobby Flay is canonically his uncle. I still can't get over this.
That's,
Yeah, what movie was
I
that
remember when I
in?
found that out. That's such a silly detail.
Scooby-Doo and the Gourmet Ghost.
Yeah, that's what that's from.
Okay.
We'll get there in like 20 years.
Yep.
Don't worry
Anyway,
about it.
Arthurian legend tangents aside.
Listen, I will talk about this whenever people want me to. Get me on your podcast to talk about Arthurian shit if you want. Because I tried writing my interpretation of an Arthurian TV show after I watched Merlin, and I got upset by everything.
Oh, that's so real.
So I borrowed The Once and Future King by T.H. White, which is a
That one's not bad,
Arthurian
though.
legend retelling. Kelly's sister really likes it, so I'm gonna give it a shot and see how it goes.
From what I've heard, that one's still pretty. That one's probably a better adaptation. So, all right, we can talk about Scooby-Doo though. It's fine. We can.
We're recording for 15 minutes exactly.
I can complain
3 of those
later.
have been about Scooby-Doo.
But the first scene of this episode is once again Knights of the Round Table. Uncle Shagworthy is reading this book. Is this what we expected him to look like?
Yeah, we know that the Rogers family has very strong genes, so
We do.
I'm surprised
and
he doesn't have the wispies on his chin.
yeah.
That's fair. When I first saw it, there was a split second where I went, did somebody just put a mustache on Shaggy, or are we going to find out this is actually Shaggy?
Well,
And then Shaggy talks about his Uncle Shagworthy, and I went, oh my god, he's just Shaggy with a mustache.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then you think
Well,
about every other
in-
time they show us a Rogers, and I'm like, no, that checks out.
I mean, even in the previous show, the new Scooby-Doo movies, his uncle Nathaniel is just old Shaggy with a fuller soul patch. That's
Yeah.
all
He's
he
got-
is.
He's got whiter hair, he's got more of it on his chin. He's just Shaggy but old man. And in that episode, they go into the family attic and they see a bunch of pictures. Everyone is just Shaggy, but with a different hairdo, a different outfit.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Same face. That's why they're gods, I think.
Created in his image, I suppose.
All
Exactly.
things created in Shaggy's image.
And this is, in fact, how I got the name for our Shaggy and our D&D game.
I was
Shagworthy?
wondering about that.
Yes. If you don't already know, I made Scooby-Doo and Doo for our friends, and I named all the characters just slightly different names. You know, at first my brain was like, well, if I try to sell this, I probably want different names. Then I was like, no, I'm doing it for fun now. I don't even care. It's just fun. But
Yeah, and when I
Shagworthy's-
first heard the name Shagworthy, I have to admit, for a split second, my brain jumped to Austin Powers.
That's where my brain went to. I will not
Is
lie
it-
to you.
Is this a reference?
So, Austin Powers, Charlie, are you familiar?
I know he exists.
Okay, so his whole thing's being a James Bond parody.
Yes.
And he talks about shagging a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and his origin, the origin of the character was like Mike Myers had like a mod band with some of his friends as a joke called the Shagadelics. And yeah, it's just the word shag gets perhaps overused. And the second I heard Shagworthy, I went, that is something Austin Powers would say, without a shadow of a doubt.
Quite shagworthy, baby. Yeah.
Shagworthy. I think it's just
Mhm.
iconic.
It's
It
such a
is.
good name.
So something happens to him with a weird shadow, we figure, but hard
Mhm.
cuts, because now it's time for Zarko the Magician. This is the same fucking magician that's been in like several different episodes, I swear. Different name,
They
same guy.
they have one magician design and they're going to get their money's worth, damn it.
He was in the last show, he was in the show before that. There's only one magician that can exist at a time.
They're all
And he always
reincarnated
commits
as
crimes.
this specific guy.
Yeah.
He keeps
Magicians are-
getting caught, escaping from prison, and changing his name and going back on the road.
you
Yes, okay. That's a great concept for a character, though. Honestly, that's what they should have done. I think that would be amazing.
It would be.
Takes notes. So they're at the magic show, and Shaggy and Scooby are like, they want to be volunteers because, you know, they get free dinner if they decide to volunteer.
Yeah,
And help
that's
the
the
magician.
deciding factor. They are not interested at all in volunteering until Zarko's like, and of course the reward is 2 free dinners. And before anybody can react, Shaggy and Scooby are up on stage.
It's so bad. And now he's gonna saw through them.
I think they react about as well as you would expect Shaggy and Scooby to react in that situation.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they think it's real. Even Daphne's scared.
I mean, if you don't know how that works, I think you'd be scared too.
To be fair, I don't usually know how that works in especially in these kinds of shows. Half the time it doesn't make sense
Yeah.
because cartoon shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like they should have felt that they were being squished into this box somehow. They just kind of stepped in.
Yeah.
Their heads are above it, and then he saws through the middle of them.
And they just take off running.
They topple themselves over and start running away on their hands. And then the bottom of the box starts running away on legs, but it's not Shaggy's legs because it's wearing green pants.
How many shenanigans is this, Charlie?
You know what?
I feel like we could at least count it as 2.
Yeah, that's 2 for each body part running in an opposite direction.
Yeah, exactly. That's precisely what I was thinking. I was like, yes, it's one shenanigan that Shaggy and Scooby are running away on their hands. It's another shenanigan entirely that the legs take off running the other way.
And then they run into each other, the boxes break open, and they're like, I guess we did get squashed in there with our entire bodies. I feel like you would have noticed that, but the intelligence is very low.
Yes.
So they've ruined this poor man's magician act. I mean, he's not a poor man, clearly, as we can see by the end of the episode. But they just leave.
Well, they ask for their dinners first, and then he just kind of like waves his fist, and they're like, I guess we should leave now.
Yeah.
You think? You probably just ruined the guy's career.
Honestly, yeah.
It's fine. He's got his own castle, apparently, so don't worry about it. They have to go visit Shagworthy. And
he's apparently a jewel dealer? Whatever that means?
Does that make you enough money to get a castle shipped brick by brick over from the British Isles?
If I had a nickel for every time a piece of media I liked.
The royal family, I don't think so.
Well, I mean, we see at the end that the trove he keeps is apparently at least worth $1 million. But how much would it... I have to question how much it would cost to ship an entire castle over brick by brick.
It'd probably be in the hundreds of millions.
Probably, you'd think so, right?
This is the second time this has happened in a Scooby-Doo episode where we've had a castle shipped brick by brick from another country.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Davy Jones isn't here this time.
True, he is not. But once again, they're being chased by a knight. So I think the reason is they're like, well, we want this to happen in America for some reason, but we also really want a castle and a knight because.
And I don't know quite what it is with pop culture's fascination with shipping castles across the ocean to the United States. Because my brain also, being like as fixated as I am on Black Knight comics, this was also a plot point in the Black Knight comics in like the 70s and the 80s, was that he also had his uncle's mansion shipped to the United States. Importantly, to New England. So I'm wondering now if they ripped that plot point in the comics off of this episode.
Maybe.
I sat there and I paused it, and I thought to myself for a couple of minutes, and I'm like, did Marvel Comics really rip off a plot point from a Scooby-Doo episode to explain why the Black Knight is part of the Avengers? And frankly, stranger things have happened.
Yeah. Let me see. Is there a TV tropes about this?
Okay, I did forget we actually had, this is the third castle, because a gaggle of galloping ghosts, it was also shipped from Transylvania. So there's at least 4 castles that I can think of in Scooby-Doo properties where this has happened.
Yeah.
At least. If it keeps happening, I'm going to keep writing down the counter of how many we've had.
Oh my god, that picked up on my recording, didn't it? Thunder pealed, so my dog ran in here and growled as he had to lay down, because he's like, I don't want to be out there right now.
Well, that's a great transition, because it's also storming in this episode.
Yes, it is.
That's true.
Very perfectly and ominously, we have lightning crashes with the castle in the distance. Iconic Scooby-Doo. As Shaggy's explaining what is going on here. His uncle is a kooky zillionaire.
What zillionaire isn't kooky, I suppose?
They all are in some way, if they're not just objectively bad people, which they usually are.
That is a good point.
Yeah. I'm almost wondering if I should have made Shaggy a noble. Like, every single one of his uncles is rich. Straight up.
Yeah.
They're all rich.
Are you guys playing D&D 1 or are you playing 5e?
We're playing 5e. We don't want to mess with that stuff.
I think the noble background, because of its feature, might require a little more work to work around, but I'm sure you could have found background characters to pull for the idea of the courtiers.
Yeah.
True. I could also just be like, hey, Shaggy is like parents themselves like are
Oh,
more
yeah.
humble, and everyone else is like more rich. So it could
Yeah.
just be a generational thing.
Yeah, just have it like a note in the backstory, like, yes, he is from nobility, but we're not giving him the noble background.
Yeah. I was like, you're gonna be a, what was it, like a guild artisan, so he could be a cook because
Oh, yeah.
cooking.
We're kind of getting to the weeds here, Charlie.
Sorry, I can also cut some of these things out. It's fine. Leave me alone.
The powers of editing. We'll fix it in post, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's future Charlie's problem, I guess.
That's what
Now,
I was
we've
saying when I
gotten-
had to edit until I got sat down to edit and I went, oh, why did I make all of this future me's problem?
Right, the worst. They get to the castle. And we have our, usual guy who's like, no, go away, you can't be here.
Leave, it's cursed. I don't know why I'm telling you this.
Yep.
I'm trying to be a nice guy. Oh no, the curse is gonna get me.
Shaggy's like, my uncle lives here, so no. And this guy is Clarence, the caretaker. He says uncle's disappeared, and he's a victim of the curse. The curse of Camelot. Ooh. And I guess when he brought the castle from England, he brought some ghosts along with it. Merlin and the Black Knight, of course.
I mean, you'd think if he dismantled the place brick by brick, then eventually at some point, you'd think the ghost would have like a point of egress to like leave, but maybe they're haunting specifically like one brick in particular.
Yeah, it's like,
Destroy that one brick.
it's like you can like have your name written on a brick, like if you donated to build like
Oh yeah,
some building or
like
they have
way
a
down deep in
walkway.
the dungeon, there's just a brick with the letters BK inscribed on it.
Yep.
That's how you unknowingly become a lich.
That's exactly what I was
Phylactery is
thinking.
that
This
one
is just
specific
a
brick.
phylactery.
That would be a good idea for a lich. Like its lair is a phylactery, but it's only one brick.
There you go. Merlin literally appears before them in some red smoke, and another shenanigan. Shaggy and Scooby start digging in the ground to get the fuck away from him. But they kind of dig in a circle, so it didn't work very well.
Yeah, and Merlin just looks at Clarence and goes, "What did I tell you about bringing people into the house without asking me? To the curse with you." And then the Black Knight just appears and carries Clarence into a wall. With a very, very fun "Joo." I
Oh
swear I've heard that
no,
sound
poor
effect like a million
Clarence.
places, but just hearing it with the Black Knight walking into a wall absolutely killed me.
Yeah.
It took me a second to realize they were walking into the wall. I thought because of the way it was framed, it was just like there was a wall in between them and he was walking away into an alleyway or something.
That's what I thought too.
I'm like, guys, you can follow him, right? And then they're like, oh no, he walked into the wall.
The
Oh,
animation.
he did? Okay. I guess that does complicate things slightly.
Sometimes the animation is just like this.
Yeah.
Merlin disappears again, and they're like, well, now we have to go and save your uncle and Clarence, I guess, if we care about him.
I don't think they do. I think it's just like let's find Uncle Shagworthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Clarence is like, if we find him, we find him. If we don't, oh well.
Yeah.
We didn't know him that long.
Yeah, you met this guy you talked to him for 5 minutes and then he was gone.
Yep.
It's a
So-
shame we'll never see Clarence again. You
I
could
know,
go find
real
him, guys,
shame.
right? Whatever.
He's not really important, so. And so the gang splits up, and of course, goodness, Shaggy and Scooby are looking at a portrait of maybe King Arthur, presumably.
Yeah, I mean, the purple wasn't really... Is that a Royal English color at that time?
That's a good question. Because a lot of the association we have with purple and royalty is largely Byzantine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I don't know if
know.
the trend would have moved on to England by that point, because it wasn't even particularly a Roman thing, it was a Byzantine phenomenon.
Yeah.
Well, Byzantine came before Rome, didn't it?
No,
No, after.
Byzantine
After.
kind of came like mid-Rome because it is
Might-
Eastern Rome, and then just
Yeah.
extended past it. I don't know. Now you've
No.
got me curious about how exactly the phenomenon of adorning royals in purple spread.
My
across
brain's just
Europe.
like, did they even have the purple color? Because like that's expensive.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I'm not sure it would have spread to England that quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, so purple associated. Well, that's the Roman
It had
Empire.
popped up by the late 11th century,
Well,
according
that's
to
post
Wikipedia,
Arthur.
which is not the best source I recognize, but it is also
Well, if you
a
find
decent
out
first
what,
glance.
yeah, if you find out which source Wikipedia is using and look there, that is useful.
Yeah, it is a book from 2003. Let's see what I can find.
Yeah, my brain goes to one of the potential theories that Arthur could be Roman himself. So
Interesting.
purple
Ah,
makes
yes,
sense.
that
That
is a
is
good
like
point.
that is a theory.
Arthur's Roman?
Yeah, because
Huh.
that might have been around the time of like Romans in that area. Anyway, he's in like the 500 to 600s. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and despite the fact that Rome had already fallen, there were still plenty of like Roman soldiers and such garrisoning Britannia at the time. So it wouldn't be totally unheard of for Arthur to be of Roman descent, which is, like you said, a fairly common theory.
yeah,
Interesting.
I did in fact first hear this on The Librarians, one of my favorite shows.
I
So
love that for you. But the painting of supposedly Arthur transforms into Merlin.
yeah,
The
and
painting of
then
Merlin.
Shaggy is going through it when he sees that. He's like, I need to scream, but my throat is so dry, I can't. What a mood. He needs water. A water jug appears right before him, and he drinks it, and it's floating in midair.
I'm surprised he didn't
Shenanigans.
stop to question that at all.
I
You
mean,
know
that
what?
is kind of par for the course.
They
It's
they
like
did
when the
a very
monsters
similar
hand them
thing.
stuff they need while they're looking for them.
Yeah.
That is a good point, yeah.
There's definitely been like floating food items and other such items in other episodes, and they're like, huh, this is fine. And then they think about it and they're like, shit.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I expected to happen, especially with it being Merlin. I thought he was gonna like take the drink and then go, that was Merlin's plan, wasn't it?
Well, they do still get spooked and run the fuck away to
They
the
do.
Spark Gang.
Mhm.
And that's when we see the shadow of the Black Knight. Ooh,
Ooh.
he's coming for them. And the wall opens up.
Did they like show how it opened up, or did Shaggy and Scooby just somehow like will it open by running towards the wall?
The wall did open.
Yeah, the wall like
After they
opens
ran
up, but I
into
don't
it.
remember there being a queue.
No, they like ran into it and it opened because I guess
yeah.
that's how that works.
I think the cue for the wall being able to open is the animation. It's not part of the background, therefore it can move.
Ah. Hey, if it works, it works.
That's my take, at least. You know?
Toonspace is a whole other can of worms.
This is true.
So they have entered a new room, and hey, look, it's the round table, and it's all the knights here. That is not nearly enough knights.
No, it's
No,
not.
not even close.
That is
And
not
And
what
I
their armor would
increasingly
look
have
like.
more and more questions about how Shagworthy managed to ship Camelot Castle across the ocean in the state it's in.
Weren't
How
there
was
13
Camelot
knights of the round
Castle?
table when Arthur died? Or there was 13 seats at the table?
Ethan,
Am I
I don't
completely
think you
off
want
there?
me to get into how many knights there are of the round table.
Okay.
I don't think there's even a
Because
definitive number you can
there is
offer
not
to
a
that.
definitive number, and it is more than 13.
It is much more than 13.
I could have sworn it was 13, or maybe that's just one interpretation.
That's
I saw it,
probably
like,
one interpretation. A lot of people honestly take like the T.H. White books as canon,
okay.
to be fair. So like anything you
I've
might
not read
learn
it
about
yet, so
yeah, but anything you might like look up about King Arthur, you might just find like definitive answers, and the source is probably that series. Like
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's where Merlin aging backwards comes from or something. That's
I
one
have
of those
not
popular
heard that
things.
before.
Yeah, that's another weird thing that has no source before T.H. White.
Interesting.
Sorry if I spoiled anything.
I mean, it's Arthurian legend. I'm familiar with it. It's just a matter of like how is
I was
T.H.
gonna
White's
say-
interpretation different from others?
Yeah, and I think that's a fair question.
Like, I don't know how his plot goes. I just know that one fact. And I'm like, okay, sure.
Huh. Anyway,
Well, if 14th centuries isn't enough time for a spoiler warning, I don't know what is.
yeah. Well, the stories themselves are probably written down far after that, but
Yeah, and we can at least confirm that stories were being written as late as like the 13th century.
yep. But we've got
Ghosts.
anyway. We've got ghosts.
The ghosts of the knights just start coming out of the armor.
And like floating ominously, just kind of like oohing and booing around, and it's like, guys, weren't we just told these are wax figurines?
You know, it's enough for the kids. because
It
they get
is.
frightened by everything.
And you know
Shaggy
what?
and
I think
Scooby-
that's reasonable.
Yeah. Shaggy and Scooby hide under the table. Smart Gang runs into an entirely different room and still get chased by some of these ghosts who can go through doors, so closing a door on them doesn't do much. And now we get to the fun part of the episode.
And this is when I told Charlie that the shenanigans were going to go very far up.
Exponential. Because now Shaggy and Scooby have been captured by Merlin and the Black Knight and are hypnotized by him. And he's like, "You are now my servants. Prove that you are my servants." Shenanigans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Scooby's like kissing his hand, Shaggy is dusting him.
Like brushing his shoes, I think is supposed to be.
Yeah.
I know he takes a brush to his shoes, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
Scooby's like
What he's
polishing his
trying to do.
shoes. Shaggy's like brushing his beard. And Merlin's like, "No, you have to be evil. You can't just kiss my boots, okay?"
He's
You
like,
have to be
no, you're not my servants. You're my evil servants.
So they start growling.
Yeah, and Shaggy goes, "Oh, okay, evil." Arrgh.
Scooby
Like, Shaggy,
bites
you
this man.
You were really ready for that, huh, Shaggy?
Merlin's like, do something evil. So Scooby bites him on the leg.
Yeah.
Okay, from what I know of Avatar: The Last Airbender, this should have been a clue as to, like, somehow, like, later on, as to who Merlin is by looking at a bite on a person's leg.
Yep.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Or a series of unfortunate events.
You know?
Oh, you know.
I only saw one of those movies.
Oh, I read the books.
I was not that kind of kid.
The villain of the story has an eyeball tattooed on his ankle.
Why?
That would be an identifier.
I don't know why. I just know
Very
he does.
weird identifier, but an identifier.
This is also a man who wanted to marry a child, from what I recall.
did.
So
Yeah.
It was for money, which makes it more gross, but I digress.
So Merlin takes our evil henchman into his little lair. You know, I do like this little evil lair, though. It is very on theme, very on brand. He's like, "Okay, you're gonna go and kill your friends, basically."
Yep.
Well, okay, if you insist.
But the
Yeah,
way
'cause
that
apparently
he
the moat
says-
goes under the castle, too?
I mean, I
I
guess
guess.
so. Well,
I
okay.
don't know how that works.
I think
but...
I think I know how that works, because that's probably where, like, that's probably some kind of, like, medieval plumbing situation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And, like, so I think the way you do that is it's not going to be, like, solid, like, at the bottom of the castle. It's probably, like, you know, every so often there's a grate, you know. It's kind of that kind of situation.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
the way he tells them they must do this is a fucking riddle.
It's Merlin, Charlie. I don't know what you expect from him.
And I don't know what he expected from Shaggy and Scooby when they immediately did not get it.
Shaggy's the one who doesn't get it. Scooby kind of gets it, but he's talking in Scooby language, so I don't know how Merlin's like, "Yeah, you got it."
I think it's more of a good enough.
I would count that as 2 shenanigans.
I would also count that as 2 shenanigans.
I don't know how many you've counted since they got hypnotized, but
I've only counted them when you've told me to count them. So
one for each, like, them being servants, but it's like,
Mhm.
you gotta separate it between Shaggy and Scooby, so that's 2. And then evil
Mhm.
servants, again, another 2. And then it's like, it's the rhyming situation,
okay,
I think. I think that's 6
yeah,
in the past 2 minutes.
yep.
And now I think we have another shenanigan because of how they're walking and how they enter the room with the rest of the gang. They're more high than usual.
Well, they are hypnotized,
This
I
is true.
guess.
So the gang is in a library and they've actually found a clue, I guess. It's a red scarf. Very intriguing,
Sure.
very important. But Shaggy and Scooby come in with their arms fully out and they're, I don't know how they got bum scooted through this random door in the library.
There is no friction here. They're just sliding around.
Yeah,
So-
that must have been a very, very smooth slide underneath Merlin's cauldron.
Yep. And they don't go to really do a plan here. Scooby's just like, "Okay, I'm gonna pull the feather." Shaggy almost falls to his death. And Fred catches him because he's a good boyfriend.
Of course.
Velma passes her insight check. She knows they're sus right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they gotta keep looking around for clues.
Shaggy and Scooby start menacing Velma, which is a crime.
It is! This is true!
Thank you, Dalt on YouTube, for telling me that menacing is a crime.
I love the education that Dalt does on YouTube. Very good.
Menacing is such a fun crime, too.
Yeah, AJ, they do a lot of Scooby-Doo related stuff.
They tell you how many years in prison each of the villains will go for based on all the crimes they commit in each episode.
Okay.
It's very
Interesting.
I have not watched their Scooby-Doo show video yet because I don't want to be spoiled, but I'm sure it's out there.
I want Dalt to, do it the other way around and say how many crimes or how many years in prison the gang would go to for all the crimes they commit, like breaking and entering.
Them on the show and tell them that.
Like the amount of times they just break and enter in places.
It's so many.
Yeah,
it's so
a very
often.
reoccurring plot point.
So the gang is in another room and there's a chandelier. So what do our evil henchmen decide to do here? They try to, do the whole chandelier thing, untie it. The gang looks back at them for a second. They're like, we're innocent. We're not doing anything. There's nothing going on here. Nope. And they release it. And of course they go flying.
Well, the thing is, they don't release it. They drop the chandelier and forget to let go of the rope, so they just both go flying as the chandelier falls.
Yes. Also, I
feel like that's chandelier dropping 101. Let go of the rope as it starts dropping. But, it's Shaggy and Scooby, and they've both been hypnotized to be evil, so...
Yeah, they have half a brain cell on a good day, so I don't expect much.
I think they have
the moral of the story is, kids, evil is stupid.
Correct. I think
so.
The gang is taking this too lightly because Velma's like, they tried to trap us. Velma, they nearly killed you.
Yeah, Velma, that was an iron chandelier. That would have done a little bit more than trap you.
Yeah, at the very least, broken bones.
And it only counts as a trap when you guys do it to a monster, remember?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, if it was to a monster, somehow they wouldn't have, smashed the entire chandelier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It would have just wrapped around the guy. It would have been fine. Chandelier's a shenanigan. But now we get to another fun one. Velma's gonna unhypnotize them because she realizes, oh, Merlin did something to you. She's putting her brain cells together. She's like, I remember. This has happened to us before, clearly.
Because I guess mind control is common enough to where there's a way for them to get out of it.
Listen, they went to the circus that one time. They all got hypnotized by a clown, okay?
Yeah,
we know how to
they
get
had
out
to
of
have
this.
a contingency for if it happened again.
And our contingency is Scooby Snacks.
Yeah, it's like counter hypnosis by way of Scooby Snacks.
She waves
At least
it in
it's
front
not
of
head
them.
trauma.
Yeah. Tells them to inhale, and they come out of it. And they're like, who the fuck's Merlin? So they remember nothing, as usual. And the gang's not splitting up right now because we're searching a dungeon.
Given the fact that Shaggy and Scooby just got hypnotized, I think it's probably best that the gang doesn't split up.
Yeah.
The last thing you need is Shaggy and Scooby getting re-hypnotized, and then you have to deprogram them again. And at that point, that's just a lot of work for Velma.
Yep.
Yeah, she doesn't get paid enough for this.
Velma deserves an easy mystery every now and again, dang it.
Yeah, but we go in this room and there's moaning coming from behind a prison cell door.
This is a dungeon, guys. Okay? You're gonna have to hear moaning. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, it does kind of come with the territory.
So Scooby turns one of his claws into a lockpick?
Yeah, I had a lot of questions about that one.
Yeah.
Shenaniganery, Scooby is a rogue. He can do this, okay? Don't worry about it.
My question was, did he turn his claw
in? Is that what's going on here?
And that's what I'm wondering. Did he turn his claw into a lockpick? Is his claw naturally a lockpick? Did he just have a lockpick hiding in his paw that he retracted like a claw?
He turned himself into a cyborg after he saw Dynamite being able to do some weird shit. So now he just has keys as all of his fingernails.
You know what? Good for him. I would too.
Why not? He's got a Swiss Army knife on one of them,
Yeah, no, that's fair enough, honestly. Why wouldn't you want to be like Dynamite?
Ethan, are you so happy that I brought Dynamite back into this?
I don't want to talk about Dynamite anymore. We're done with him now.
If you want to hear how much Ethan hates Dynamite, you can listen to our bonus show.
His voice is like nails on a chalkboard. It's like a really bad Tigger impression. It's like if a really bad Tigger impression and the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland came together and created an unholy abomination, and that's what Dynomutt is.
Why were they so obsessed with cartoon characters having lisps? Why was that a
I
thing?
don't know. I don't know.
Anyway, Scooby opens the door because he's magic. And hey, look, it really is Uncle Shagworthy's dungeon.
Look, it's not for me to judge people's kinks, but
My
this
problem
seems to
is
have gone well too
Merlin
far.
left him there for hours. The man has to pee sometimes.
Yeah, and eat. He's very hungry.
I mean, he is a Rogers, so...
Yeah, that's, at the end of the day, that I just kind of chalked up to being a Rogers thing.
Yeah.
Their metabolism, it's just inherently so fast that he needs to eat more often, and Merlin didn't take that into account in the dungeon situation.
No,
Clearly.
he didn't.
But if Merlin really wanted this to be a working relationship for them, he would have left some food down there.
Yeah.
Especially considering how much food Shagworthy seems to have hidden about the place.
Look, you gotta have a snack within reach no matter where you go if you're a Rogers.
Yes.
There you
Frankly, I think that's a good MO to live by regardless of your family name.
Oh, it is. I'm just saying it's particularly important for them.
Yeah, that's a survival tactic in that household.
The Rogers family definitely labels all of their food so that nobody eats somebody's food that they were going to eat later.
But then Scooby eats it all anyway, because Scooby has no boundaries.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure Scooby kind of doesn't care about that rule, and that's probably a big big source of conflict in the family. But
it's a faux pas for them.
Dang it, the dog's just that darn cute, you can't stay mad.
Yeah.
That is true. My dog did steal a snickerdoodle off the counter and eat it, so...
Oh.
It's the only time she's taken food off the counter, but...
She clearly deserved it.
I mean,
Now,
single snickerdoodle.
I did give her a piece of turkey with my lunch this afternoon, so she deserved it.
Every once in a while when we make spaghetti, we'll take one wet noodle before we put all the sauce on and everything, and we'll just give it to the dog. It's like, here, Leo, you can have spaghetti with us too.
Now, the best part of this scene is that once we unlock him out of there, I assume Scooby did that with his other nails, Shagworthy is given some Scooby snacks to eat. And it's sufficient.
Yeah.
Rogers can just survive off of dog food.
I mean,
don't worry.
I think they've got like the nutrient density of like Cliff Bars.
Maybe.
Because you think about it, they have to be safe for both dog and human consumption.
Yeah.
Are they safe, or do they just have really high constitutions? The Rogerses,
Either one is likely. I feel like we have to have seen somebody other than a Rogers eat a Scooby snack at some point in time, right?
I don't think so.
You'd think with how long the franchise has been going, that's probably something they've done at some point, but I can't think of any examples.
I'm trying to think if I remember Velma doing like a Scooby impression in like Mystery Incorporated. I'm trying to remember if she ate a Scooby snack. No, she's eating fries. That's what I'm seeing in my brain. So I don't think any of them have eaten a Scooby snack. Not in the cartoons.
Yeah.
Maybe in the live action.
Maybe.
Alright, so we have to go and catch Merlin. How are we going to catch a sorcerer? Also, there's ghosts. Again.
Yep.
They go into another random room and there's a bunch of ghosts that chase them out. And then they all, end up splitting up. Shaggy and Scooby run one direction and the Black Knight appears in front of them.
He's like, hey, Merlin wants you again. And they're like, no, we're not doing that. And then he just opens up a trap door in the floor.
Well, fuck. The smart gang is running away from the ghosts, and somehow they trick them? Kind of. Maybe they're just really stupid, because the gang was going one way, the ghosts end up going up the stairs. Oh well.
Yeah.
And Scooby and Shaggy are very scared when they see Merlin again. They're like, we didn't do anything! That's the problem! You didn't do anything!
Which, you'd think that raises the question of how much do you actually remember if you don't remember Merlin after being deprogrammed, but now all of a sudden you're afraid of Merlin because you remember what he did?
Who cares about continuity at this point?
Yeah, that's a fair point. I don't know why I'm worried about what Shaggy and Scooby don't remember.
I can forgive the continuity because they're both high.
Yeah,
so...
yeah. It's not that kind of show.
That's just how it works to me.
After running away from Merlin, my favorite bit of the show happens.
I love it.
Of this episode, where they go out the door, and then Merlin opens the door, and Shaggy and Scooby are dressed as baby clothes salesmen.
For some reason, that's the choice they made today. And they put a binky in Merlin's mouth. They tie a quote-unquote diaper on the Black Knight. put Merlin in a stroller. Each of these is a shenanigan, I think.
Mhm. Yeah, so that's 3 so far.
So where are they getting these items from?
Hammerspace. And then
Truly.
Shaggy yoinks the diaper off the Black Knight and sends him spinning into the wall.
Basically, both of the guys have been, like, spun out away from them, and they can go back out the door and run off. And then we're in a room full of armor. And I wonder where Shaggy and Scooby are hiding. Where could they be? Merlin takes the head off of one of the armors. Nope, I don't see him. He's not in there. Shaggy is hiding in the legs of the armor. Just the legs.
Somehow.
This is
He
some
was able
Phineas
to-
and Ferb shit.
I mean, yeah, or Phineas and Ferb is like this.
True. I just there have been times where Ferb has just made up the entire bit of the legs, and somehow
That's
that
true.
makes sense.
It also raises the question of how Merlin didn't see them, which makes me think that the Merlin disguise does not have the best sightline, despite the fact that it does appear to otherwise look perfectly human.
I was gonna say, this guy, maybe he needs glasses, and maybe it's just really dark in here and he does not have dark vision. So,
You know,
I mean-
that's fair.
He is human.
there we go.
I did
Just
not
like Fred.
consider the fact that it was actually dark and we're in like a Helm's Deep situation where it's like, where's the light coming from? The same place as the music?
Sure.
Listen, the lighting in Scooby-Doo is still not good here. We won't get good
No.
lighting in Scooby-Doo until the 90s movies.
Yeah.
Until, like,
It takes
Zombie
that long?
Island. Zombie Island,
Not
I
even-
think, is when we get the good animation and lighting.
Not even like Pup Named Scooby-Doo?
No, Pup Named Scooby-Doo is still largely pretty bright,
Yeah.
all things considered.
It's still a more cheaply made TV show.
It's a little bit better at shading, so you know, like, specifically when they're sitting somewhere darker than normal,
Yeah.
but it is still a bright enough show where it's like, yeah, you can't tell if it's actually, like, dark.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say the best lighting you ever see in Scooby-Doo is, in fact, Zombie Island.
Yeah, I
I
think
will
that's
agree
where
with
it's extremely clear what's light and what's dark.
Yeah.
But that was also when they were really trying to make it a horror movie. So
Yes, this is
Yeah.
also true.
I might watch that after this. Anyway.
But the smart gang is apparently being chased by the Black Knight, and Fred's like, okay, we'll go in this room and trap him. And there's a bunch of musical instruments everywhere. Cool.
Yeah, they had a musical instrument room, I guess, in Camelot. Don't think too hard about it. I have nothing for you there. Maybe there was a bard.
Maybe.
No, I can't think of any bards currently.
The quote-unquote Black Knight opens the door, and Fred pushes a harp on wheels, and it crashes into them, and it's just Shaggy and Scooby.
Wasn't the Black Knight. It was Shaggy and
No.
Scooby in the entire armor. Like, somehow they filled out the whole thing, and now Shaggy's on top, Scooby's on the bottom. Oops.
Yeah, I guess they reoriented themselves after evading Merlin's attention.
It's like those costumes where people dress up as like a horse, where one person is the front half and the head, and the other person is the other legs.
Like the last episode we had, Ethan?
Yes.
Remember?
Exactly
Remember
like
how
that.
that worked? We
Yes,
had
except Scooby-Doo and Scooby-Dum were both occupying the space at the same time.
yeah,
somehow.
Scooby-Doo was filling out the entire costume, but Scooby-Dum was also just there, and we don't know how that worked. And then somehow it became two costumes.
I feel like that's how every group project works.
One person does all the work, and the other people are just there. That happened to me on one of my final projects in college.
Oh yeah, same here. We had to do a digital exhibit thing, and we had had
Mm.
the work all delegated who was going to do what, and then like a week before they stopped responding to emails, so I had to do the entire thing in 2 days.
Feel that. That's pretty much
Yeah.
happened to me too.
Yeah, group projects, dude. Anyways, I'm
Okay.
surprised that rolling a harp into this suit of armor was as effective of a trap as it was.
Yeah. I mean, it worked, but
Yeah, and when you see the way Shaggy and Scooby are sitting on the floor afterwards, you're like, how did this manage to actually stop them other than knocking them out of the suit of armor?
it's a great question.
It's fine. Everything is fine.
The downsides of 70s animation, where if you made that in the 90s, you probably could have done a really funny couple of frames of how that collided.
Probably, but they did not have the budget for that.
Yep.
So now the gang has searched the whole castle, and there's only one place left. This one tower. But there's no way in. I don't think that's how you design a castle, personally.
Yeah, no. It's just a tower with a window at some point.
Rapunzel-ass thing.
Yeah.
Truly.
Fred really does just create a catapult to create a Rapunzel situation.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it kind of works.
Yeah, in the most roundabout possible, as these things always do.
Yeah, exactly. This is not the first time that we have catapulted Shaggy and Scooby into a building this way.
And it certainly will not be the last.
No, it will not.
So they jump onto it, and the stone goes up, and then the stone falls down, and then they jump into the air, and Scooby just barely grabs onto that window with his tail. Prehensile tail, that is.
Yes.
And then
get
Shaggy
in.
climbs Scooby.
And somehow they
Sure.
get in there. They open the door.
Yeah, because apparently there's a door now.
There's a door now, but Scooby's magical key, thing couldn't work this time, I guess.
I guess.
I don't know, man. It's real weird here.
Yeah.
But there's a piano, or an organ, actually.
Yep.
We solved the mystery. It all makes sense now.
Yeah, Velma just kind of pieced it all together after seeing the organ, and it's like, oh, okay.
Sure.
The organ in the tower you didn't know had an entrance is the key to everything, huh?
Yeah, definitely. Don't you know?
Yeah, that's Velma's logic for you. I mean, she got it right, so I guess that's what really matters.
Yeah.
Velma just operates on planes beyond our mortal understanding.
I mean, if the way I'm playing her is any indication, yes. Yes, it is.
Velma's just smart, ain't she? Okay,
But-
and now we have to catch these guys.
Yeah, now comes to the part where we actually have to trap them so we can do the unmasking. Because we gotta have an unmasking.
Shaggy and Scooby are the baits. They get their Scooby snack bribe. And Velma's like, okay, here's the plan. They just come up behind Merlin and Black Knight, who are just walking around looking for them, on, like, a little motorcycle with a sidecar. And
Okay,
they're like,
I
yeah.
won't lie to you. I thought motorcycles with sidecars only existed in cartoons and movies for the longest time until 2 days
Ethan.
ago when I saw a motorcycle with a
Ethan.
sidecar driving the opposite direction from me on the highway. And I thought,
You're insane!
I had never seen one in person before.
Okay, not thinking they were a cartoon only thing for a while I can get. I was kind of the same way as a kid until I saw one. But the fact that you only found out that they were real 2 days ago is very funny to me.
Listen, maybe I thought it was a thing that, like, either it used to be more common and people don't do it anymore, or it just exists fictionally.
I think that
think-
is kind of true.
I think it might have been more common at a different time, because you don't see it often. I don't know if I've seen a motorcycle with a sidecar, like, personally. That's not, like a movie prop or something.
Yeah, I haven't in a couple years at least.
But, like,
But I know they
I
exist.
knew they were a thing. I knew it was real. I knew you could still do that.
I don't know. I just never seen one in person until 2 days ago.
Ethan is
That's
a character.
pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
Ethan is now
Anyway.
a shenanigan. And Shaggy and Scooby have a delivery for our bad guys. They have to sign for it, and they get pie in the face.
Yep.
Beautiful. Wonderful.
And they
No
decide
notes.
not to tip.
Truly scum of the earth.
I mean, hypnotizing Shaggy and Scooby and trying to get them to kill the Smart Gang is one thing, but not tipping their delivery drivers is just beyond ridiculous.
I know.
I would know I was a delivery driver. How
They
fucking
hand
dare they?
delivered these pies directly to your faces, and you couldn't tip. Incorrigible villains these days, I'm telling you.
I can't believe it. So
Yep.
they drive away, have Merlin and the Black Knight chase them, and Fred and the rest of the gang are watching this all unfold in the magic screen above the organ.
Yeah, I
Is
had a lot
there
of questions
security
about that
cameras?
one too, but
I guess there's like security cameras in
Yeah,
there?
security cameras in this 6th century castle. Uh-huh.
and apparently they
Sure.
feed back to a monitor that is part of a pipe organ.
Yes.
Why not?
This makes perfect sense to me.
Merlin, I think
So-
I think you kind of overthought this.
Scooby does not pass his stealth check because his tail is sticking out. I don't know how, because he was on the bottom and the
It
tail was
doesn't
sticking out the
matter.
top, but they were hiding in like a pole. The Black Knight takes it off, and Shaggy's like, haha, haha, I blow out the candles. There's no more light here now.
Yep. Except then there is.
But they've stolen Merlin's wand. Abracadabra!
I also love the implication that this place is lit entirely by candlelight, but it does have electric light fixtures.
You never know.
I believe it.
Because when Shaggy blows out the candles, the way we get the light back is that the Black Knight hits a light switch.
Yes.
Listen,
And I'm like, oh,
Honestly-
okay, Shagworthy is like purely on the vibes, huh?
yeah.
I
would do
respect that
too.
about him, frankly. The whole place is lit by candlelight and he has light fixtures. I respect the commitment to the vibe.
That's how you do it, honestly. It's the perfect
Yeah.
way. So Shaggy does an abracadabra. Daphne is like, cool, you get ghosts. Merlin's like, wait, that's my thing. You can't do that to me. And Scooby says, bippity bappity boo. Scooby, I think that's
Legally
copyright.
distinct. Legally distinct. That's all that matters.
And Daphne's finger gets stuck in the keys.
That's a shitty organ if there's that much space between the keys.
Yeah, right? That's what
They
I was
can't-
thinking.
They can't do anything.
And
they're
also, how
so-
did Daphne manage that?
Danger prone
Great question.
Daphne is what they say.
Are Daphne and Flat Stanley related? Because that's the only explanation I can think of.
Maybe. I don't know. Flat Stanley Blake. Maybe. So Shaggy and Scooby have to run the fuck away because they don't have any more magic.
Yeah, suddenly their plan is entirely blown.
They go on top of a tapestry's like metal rod.
Mhm.
Merlin and the Black Knight try to rip the tapestry to get them down. They rip it onto themselves, trapping themselves. And
Shenanigans.
the
Yeah.
metal rod falls onto the ground. We've got the guys. And now it's time for the unmasking. Hey, look, one of them is a guy, and the other one
Yeah,
is
the Black Knight gets unmasked to just be revealed to be some guy.
nobody we know.
No.
We've seen
Total
that
stranger.
before.
Yeah. And then it's Clarence. But wait, Clarence is really Zarko. Okay, why didn't we just say it was Clarence and Zarko? Like, why is there a random other
Yeah,
guy?
why wasn't
like-
Clarence the Black Knight?
Yeah, there was no reason for that.
I do think it's kind of funnier that Clarence is also a Zarko costume specifically to explain why Clarence got carried away by the Black Knight. But couldn't you have just
Merlin
put
was
Zarko
also
in the Black Knight?
there. Merlin
Yeah.
showed up when that happened.
Yeah. It would have been really
So
funny
weird.
if Clarence was just like a totally unrelated third guy. Like he actually did just get kidnapped.
I mean, you never know.
But they also could have been like, oh, yeah, Clarence is also evil because he's the guy on the inside. He wanted to. He's always hated Shagworthy, and he teamed up with Zarko to do this or something.
Yeah, he chased
No.
it. He tried to chase us away so we couldn't crack the case.
I think this is the first episode we've had this season that hasn't had like a good lore drop, you know?
Yeah.
Like we had a very short one of like, oh, it's Camelot Castle. There's a curse and it's Merlin and the Black Knight. But sometimes there's like more of a lore drop in these things of like why these guys are doing this. There's no reason, you know? I kind of miss that.
Yeah.
Shagworthy's like, how'd you figure it out? Oh, because of like when Clarence
All of his
disappeared.
props.
Clarence disappeared. That's an old magician's trick. All of this is illusions. Obviously.
Yeah, Velma just keeps going into like, oh well, he left his scarf here. His scarf is a prop in his act. He walked through a wall. That's part of a magician's act. The console to make the ghost appear. It's just part of an illusion. I'm like, oh,
And-
Zarko's just really bad at being a magician, huh?
Yeah.
And Merlin always appeared 15 minutes after midnight. Just 15 minutes after Zarko's show ended. And it takes 15 minutes to get there from his show. So, there you go.
I respect that Velma was calculating Zarko's commute. That's good detective work right there.
Yeah, that is something you have to think about.
And, you know, the day is saved, and Shagworthy's like, here, food. I have literally, it pulls a lever, table full of food, a fridge pops out, like, and we're doing the usual Scooby steals all of Shaggy's food shenanigans.
Yeah, and Shaggy called Shagworthy Unk 3 times in a minute. And every time he said it, I felt like the Akira flashbacks in my head.
I mean, the way
That is
that the way that people use it in a modern context is not the same as it was at that
No, I
point.
know, but it was so funny to just hear Unk out of nowhere, and my head like snapped to attention. Like, what did you just say? I'm sorry, Shaggy. What was that?
Don't worry about it.
AJ, I don't know about you. I have been called Unk by children.
Yeah.
I am 25. That is not old by any stretch of the
No,
imagination.
No, you're a baby.
no. I'm 23, and I've gotten it a couple of times, which I chalk up to being a substitute teacher.
My God,
That'll do it.
I'm on a call with babies. I can't believe
Charlie,
this.
you're 28.
Subbing for middle schoolers
Not
is a
even.
nightmare.
I am
It took 20
27.
minutes before I heard the word Unk the first time, and I went, oh, well, I'm never coming back to a middle school.
I'd also
Yep.
never heard of this phrase until you mentioned this.
Yeah, it just
It's-
suddenly popped up everywhere. I do not try and pay attention to these things, but then they just find me.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing in like, I don't know, it started as a thing in like, so AJ, I don't know if you know, I don't think you know this. My stepdad is black, and around his family, you just call anybody, like any man that's older than you that's not your dad, your uncle or unk.
Okay.
So at least that's how I was familiar with it before that. And eventually it just came to like mean any guy who's older than you.
And then middle schoolers just took that with all the venom in their bodies and turned it into
Ugh.
derision.
God,
That sounds
middle
about right.
schoolers, they are the worst.
They are evil. All of them are evil.
This is true. I don't even work with middle schoolers. I work with elementary school kids. But it is the 10-year-olds who are, in fact, the worst because they are prepping for the middle school shenanigans.
Yeah.
Ugh. Disgusting.
Now, this last thing that happens in the episode, would you count as a shenanigan? Because
I would, personally.
Because Uncle Shagworthy, where does he keep his jewels?
In the fridge.
And that is absolutely a shenanigan, if you ask me.
Yep, I already counted it. We're good there.
So let me spoil you one moment from a future Scooby-Doo property, Ethan.
Yeah.
In one of my favorite Scooby-Doo movies, The Boo Brothers, the first clue on their treasure hunt is in the freezer because it's Shaggy's uncle and he knows that Shaggy will go to the freezer/fridge.
Gotta know your
How
audience.
many
Eventually.
uncles does Shaggy have?
Yes.
A lot.
Yes. All of them are rich.
About as many as there are Knights of the Round Table.
Yeah. Only one of them is a Confederate, as far as I know.
Gross.
Thank God for that.
But he's still rich.
The things we do to put up with our rich relatives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love how he's just got buckets of jewels here, though. Shagworthy.
Yeah.
What a vibe.
Yeah, he reaches into the fridge and Shaggy goes, wow, that must be 1 million worth of gems. I think he calls it a cool million, which, haha.
Yes, exactly. Our other last shenanigan is Scooby stealing all of the food from Shaggy's sandwich without Shaggy noticing at all. And Shaggy's just holding, like, pieces of bread with air in between them. Like, wait, what?
Despite being a druid, his wisdom is quite low.
I think Haley told me about the subclass that she chose for Druid. I want to say it was, like, Circle of Blazing or something.
Something like
And
that.
I think he has disadvantage on wisdom saves or something.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Which is amazing, actually.
That is amazing.
Like, we love it. Beautiful. Now, Ethan, we've covered the episode, but what time is it?
It's terror time again.
And we have quite a bit of trivia here. There's cultural references, there is continuity, there is trivia. Alright, in Celtic legend, Merlin was the beloved mentor of King Arthur, a good king of Britain. Yet a famous American novel, A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court, 1889 by Mark Twain, makes Merlin a villain rather than a hero. I actually didn't know that. I don't know how that was referenced in this episode, but, well, I
it's
guess
because
it
Merlin's
is.
the villain. That's it.
I guess, but
I don't think this is, like, particularly a direct reference, but there is a certain, like, undercurrent you can see if you pay attention to, like, loose interpretations of chunks of Arthurian myth in American media. It does tend to go the direction of either Merlin is hiding something that makes him less outright good than he is in Arthurian legend, or he's just outright a jerk.
Scooby and Shaggy accept water from a floating kettle and are spooks when it speaks. It's alright. This is the trademark phrase of ventriloquist Senor Wences and recycles a gag from Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Hassle in the Castle.
Scooby says the magic words, bippity boppity boo, the trademark phrase of the fairy godmother from Disney Cinderella. I feel the need to edit that to point out that no, he does not.
he
According
says
to the captions, anyway.
boo, I think.
Yeah, he says bappity, not bippity boppity.
So it can be a little bit distinct for continuity, as I like to say, because I can't pronounce it.
Cut to the Austin Powers Godzilla joke here.
It can be assumed that Shaggy's family, and by extension Scooby's as well, is incredibly wealthy. Shaggy's uncle Nathaniel lives in a large estate in rural Massachusetts, as seen in the new Scooby-Doo movies, episode The Loch Ness Mess. His uncle Shagworthy managed to bring an entire English castle to the United States in this episode. And like Uncle Nat, Shaggy's parents also live in a large estate during their retirement, as seen as in the new Scooby and Scrappy-Doo show episode, Wedding Bell Booze. I actually
It's
did not know
unclear.
that they lived in a nice house too.
So
But I've
it's
also
his whole
never seen it.
family.
Yeah, I've never seen the new Scooby and Scrappy-Doo show, so.
Okay. It is unclear whether Shagworthy is his first or last name. It may be at this point in development, Shaggy was short for Shagworthy, which is a last name. It was not until the 80s that Shaggy's full name was determined to be Norville Rogers.
Huh, I didn't know it was that late that we found out Shaggy's full name.
Yeah.
They've never said it before, so I don't even know if they've said everybody's last names yet in the show.
I don't think so.
As we mentioned earlier in the episode, this is the third time a certain wealthy party has replicated a historic European castle brick by brick. The previous time being in Hagglethorn Castle from the new Scooby-Doo movies episode, The Haunted Horseman of Hagglethorn Hall.
It's the second time that the villain is called the Black Knight. The first was in the Scooby-Doo Where Are You episode, What a Night for a Night, the first episode.
The following snippets from this episode can be seen in the opening sequence for the Scooby-Doo show. Shaggy holding Scooby after the two are frightened again by the Ghost Knights, albeit set on a dark or blue background depending on the version of the sequence being viewed. Merlin appearing and waving his wand, again set on a dark blue or black background depending on the version. And Shaggy and Scooby gulping after being told the gang are going into the castle, yet again set on a dark or blue background depending on the version.
And for trivia, Ted Nichols' original 1968 musical underscore that was first used for the Banana Split segments and The New Adventures of Huckleberry Finn appears in this episode, while the previous 5 episodes only used new music from Hoyt Curtin. The 1969 underscore that was composed specifically for the original Scooby-Doo Where Are You, along with the 1968 score, would return in the episode after and be played alongside the Curtin score for the remainder of the series. Alright.
Shaggy and Scooby are hypnotized for a second time, the first being in the Scooby-Doo Where Are You episode Bedlam in the Big Top. Apparently mind control may turn them, quote, evil, but it cannot eliminate their goofy, over-the-top personalities.
While most popular culture adaptations show Merlin as a heroic figure and a trusted mentor of King Arthur, some deviate from form and make him a villain, such as Mark Twain's A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court, the 2014 anime Seven Deadly Sins, and Once Upon a Time. Though in that one he is not outright a villain, just morally ambiguous.
I want to know who
That's-
edited this because that's incorrect. But
I say, Charlie, as the resident Once Upon a Time expert on this call.
as the
Also,
resident
why was
expert,
Why was that
Yeah.
not just merged into the cultural reference about a Connecticut
Yeah.
Yankee and King Arthur's Court?
Yeah,
I
that
feel like
should
that
have
could have
been
been the
a
same
cultural
comment.
references.
It should have been. I don't know why that is.
But no, Merlin is just a good guy, and then he is controlled by bad guys to do bad things, and then he died. So, don't matter. Ethan,
Yes.
how many shenanigans do we have for this episode?
Charlie, the prophecy has been fulfilled. We have a new first place for shenanigans.
Ooh.
Charlie, we have a
alright.
grand total of 31.
Dang.
Wow.
That is it's 8 shenanigans ahead of the original top. So we went from 23 being our most shenanigans to 31.
Yeah, that
It's
ups
gonna be
the
tough to
ante
beat
a
that.
fair bit.
That is more shenanigans than there are minutes in the episode. So
Yeah.
Well, Ethan, we also took over an hour and a half to cover this episode. So
that was because of all the tangents we went on.
this is true.
That is true, yes.
Now, what are we rating this episode out of 5 Scooby Snacks?
I'm gonna go with 4. Rate 4.
I think 4 was what I was thinking too. Maybe 4.5. I will say I did really enjoy a lot of the humor in this episode.
Yeah, I may up to 4.5 just for the baby clothes salesman bit. I really enjoyed that.
I think I'll give it 4. I think that's good.
Okay.
It's a fun one.
It is a very fun one.
I have more favorites coming up, so I'm just like, I don't know how this rates compared to that, but we'll see.
Yeah, you don't want to break the scale early on in the season. I feel that.
Yeah.
And I feel like there could have been some more guys in the episode, and there could have been, like I said, some more lore in the episode, so things to think about. Now, lastly, whose side are we on in this one? Are we on the side of Zarko/Clarence stealing the family jewels?
Okay, technically Clarence was not involved.
He is
Technically.
Clarence.
Well,
He
yeah,
is
Clarence is
Oh, that's what
Zarko.
you mean.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
Clarence does not exist.
Okay. So you're saying Clarence never happened.
That's what I think. I'm pretty sure that's canon. We
I'm
don't know
pretty
if
sure that's what
Clarence-
they were trying to set up, was that Clarence is not a real person, it's just Sarko in a costume.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
I respect Sarko's crash out over Shaggy and Scooby kind of ruining his whole act and potentially his entire magician career.
Mm,
I think just robbing a castle to get its gems is really silly.
yeah.
Maybe that's the actual reason why he robbed Shagworthy, because he was really just mad at Shaggy and Scooby. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna plan this for, right after my act. I'm gonna go and rob his uncle, because I know he lives right over there.
I've heard worse revenge plans, honestly.
Personally, I think I'm on the side of Shagworthy, who,
Yes.
as a man worthy of a shag, has an appropriate dungeon for said shag.
Good for him.
That he does.
It just needs more snacks.
I have to question if that was accurate to the castle in England. Did he install that himself, you think?
I don't know.
Um,
I
yeah.
don't know
He
enough
said he moved
about
the castle-
architecture, so
He moved the castle brick by brick. That doesn't necessarily mean it's all the same furniture, I suppose.
Yeah, that's not a
it's
prerequisite
true.
necessarily.
Yeah.
Shagworthy,
did
what
add
are
some-
you up to in your free time?
They did add some wax figures for the Knights of the Round Table. I want to know if he was just planning on living here forever or turning it into
A
some kind
museum.
of attraction.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's got the money to do whatever he wants, but I side with him.
Yeah, I'm
Even
pro
though he's a
whatever
rich guy.
Shagworthy is up to.
Yeah.
The one rich man that I stan.
Mhm. So are we putting Shagworthy down?
That's
Yes.
who I vote for. I don't know what your
Alright.
thoughts are, Ethan.
I can vibe with that.
Like I said, I respect Zarko getting mad that they may or may not have ruined his career, but I am firmly Team Shagworthy on this one.
Yep. All right. So we're all saying 4 out of 5 this episode, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's what it sounds like to me.
All right.
So Ethan does not have to do math.
Yay!
It makes it very easy.
All right. Well, AJ, thank you so much for coming on this episode. Can you tell us where the people can find you on the internet? What is it you do? We forgot to do that at the beginning, actually. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, we did.
Oops.
I wasn't even thinking about it, I gotta be honest. Like I said, Tim is the brains of this whole operation. But for those of you who don't know, Tim, the guest on the last episode, and I are the two hosts of a theme park podcast called Standby Line. We just wrapped up our latest season talking largely about Disneyland, and we've got some fun things coming up in terms of theme park adjacent property, shall we say. So wherever you're watching this, you can probably find Standby Line, and I think it is also fun to listen to us go off on totally unrelated tangents.
Mm-hmm.
I do, in fact, enjoy a good Standby Line episode. They're fun.
Very good.
All right. Well, for now, we're gonna go split up and look for clues for our next mystery. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Doodles.
You can follow this podcast socials at Mysteries in the Machine Pod on Instagram. You can send a message to our email, mysteriesinthemachinepod@gmail.com. Be sure to give us a rating, a review, or let your friends and followers know how much you love the podcast. That really helps. You can follow me, Charlie, at GreenPixie12 on most platforms. I also have an art Instagram at GreenPixieDraws.
You can find me, Ethan, on Instagram and Threads at ethan.t.hewlin. Our music was written and produced by Jason Hilton. You can find him at Negative Selections on Instagram. Well, Charlie, I hope you can get your camera situation figured out at some point.
I am gonna try. It was so fun. I literally figured out that it was even worse than before because Ray and I were recording on Zencaster and it kept kicking me out because my camera wouldn't work. And we were doing the
That's
show
stupid.
video, record audio, and I was like,
Oh,
what?
yeah.
And just having show video, I couldn't even just turn my camera off and have it work because it can't find my camera.
Is
My
this
camera is
camera
attached.
built into your laptop or is it external?
It is built into my laptop. There is no shutter to turn it on and off. It is just a very basic webcam.
Huh. Okay. Yeah.
I have troubleshooted everything. I've updated every driver. I have disabled and re-enabled, deleted and brought back, and nothing.
Yeah, that's gotta be a royal pain in the ass to fix.
I think you might have to go external webcam, Charlie. if
Yeah,
you want to
that's
do
what I was
that.
about to say.
That's
I feel like,
that's what my
unfortunately.
brain was going to. I was
Yeah.
like, oh no. But we'll see.
It's not
Gratefully,
the
they're pretty
worst.
cheap.
That's what I use normally.
Yeah. I'll look for something. We shall see.